Welcome back to Ready, Set, College. We're in the home stretch with Gary Clark, the Director of Admission at UCLA. It was very important for Gary to get the record straight on this final topic that we want to cover today. And frankly, it makes a heck of a lot of sense from where I sit as well. I give speeches all the time. And when we start the discussion about the UC system, there's a lot of parents in particular who are upset by the idea that a large number of seats have been given away to out-of-state kids. And this is a budgetary issue. This isn't fair for our families. There's a number of different perspectives on this, but I know Gary has one, he's the horse's mouth when it comes to this kind of stuff. And two, I think it's a very different perspective than what we believe the truth to be. So without further ado, let me give him the floor and let him explain how do the out-of-state admissions for the UC system and more specifically UCLA work, and why is this actually a very fair system and frankly a very good system for everyone involved?
Sure. So with the growth in out-of-state and international students and I'll speak specifically on behalf of UCLA right now, over the past 4 or 5 years, we've really significantly increased the number of out-of-state and international students in our incoming freshman class and to a certain degree in the transfer class each year. But the approach that we've taken at UCLA is that we have not decreased our commitment to California residents. So last year we enrolled a class of 5,700 freshmen, 4,100 California residents and 1,600 non-residents. Now that 4,100 number has stayed very consistent over the past decade or 15 years. So we've not reduced that number at all. We have increased the number of out-of-state and international students as a result of the budget crisis that happened several years ago, and that was really to make up for some of the lost revenue coming from the state. The campuses were forced to really find new sources of revenue. Out-of-state students pay additional non-resident tuition compared to what in-state students pay, and so that revenue has been a way for the campuses to really maintain the quality of the undergraduate experience for all students. So the existence of out-of-state and international students on our college campuses allows us to really continue to be the remarkable universities that we are and maintain class size and make sure that students are graduating and those type of things. And the other point tied to this that I think is important to understand is there's a faculty policy that was implemented several years ago called the Compare Favorably Standard. And what this basically means is that each of these campuses has to produce a report each year that demonstrates that the students that we are admitting out of state and international are just as good, if not better, than the students that we're admitting from California. And so I say that to assure the people of California that, number one, UCLA is not reducing enrollment of California residents, and number two, the quality of students that we are admitting outside of California is remarkably high. We are not taking lower quality students out of state than we're taking in California. These students are extraordinary and just as extraordinary as the students that we're taking from California. So there's no dip in quality, and we're certainly not giving away any spaces that would have been for California residents. We've kept that commitment.
I think it's also important to add the idea that without that diversity, the quality of the learning experience isn't the same. I mean, one of our colleagues, Kirk Brennan, once told me the idea of college, the definition, if you will, of college within the old Latin is come together. Mm-hmm. Well, without bringing different perspectives from around the state, around the country, and around the globe to solve the world's problems for the next generation, the college doesn't serve as big a purpose as it possibly can. Mm-hmm. So for those families who are very concerned, I understand it. I know Gary's concerned about it. And I think these things have been addressed in a very responsible way, but still recognizing the fiscal challenges of our state. But more importantly, having those out-of-state and international students makes the learning for those students who are participating so much richer. So be careful what you wish for. There is a place for students from all walks of life. And I think the UCLA community as a whole has done a very good job of accommodating a larger population and still giving the same opportunities for greatness for California kids.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we all believe very strongly in the diversity of an undergraduate student body and the impact that has on the quality of undergraduate education at that institution. And I think we can talk about racial and ethnic diversity. We can talk about socioeconomic diversity. In this case, we can talk about geographic diversity. And I think each of those things contributes positively to the quality of the undergraduate experience that the student is going to have. So I feel like the students that are are at UCLA now and have been a part of this experience recently are really in a remarkable learning environment where they're being challenged, they're really thinking critically, and they're interacting with students whose perspectives will help to shape theirs in very creative and thoughtful ways.
I can't say that I haven't driven by 50, 60 times in the last couple of years, and I've watched this evolution at UCLA. There's always, since the '94 earthquake that I can recall, there's always been some sort of construction on campus, which means it's always an evolving universe, and that's one of the great hallmarks of a top university. And frankly, I'm very proud of my alma mater, and I'm very proud that Gary Clark's been able to join me today to share some college knowledge with you. Gary, if someone wants to get in touch with the admission office at UCLA to ask further questions, what would be the best way to reach out?
Well, I would certainly encourage students to visit our website. All of our contact information is there. If they want to give us a phone call, if they want to shoot us an email, we certainly want to be accessible to students and families. We offer tours Monday through Friday and on Saturdays. Don't assume that just because you live close by and you've driven by Westwood and driven by UCLA many times that you know the campus. Please come and visit. Please check us out. It is a beautiful, beautiful campus. It's pretty hilly, so wear comfortable shoes. But you certainly won't regret the time you spend on campus. So I would encourage you to get in touch with us and definitely come and pay us a visit.
Want to thank my guest, Gary Clark from UCLA. This is a terrific show. Could not thank you enough for being here. And I certainly hope you guys at home learned a lot. Come back next week when we'll have another amazing guest here on Ready, Set, College. Have a good night.